in the garage working today. As you can tell, we got the door closed. We have the AC rolling in here because it's going to be hot out today. And we got Josh over here. He has a beautiful 2005 STI in today, and he obviously has a lot of nice mods on the car. And we're going to be doing some diagnosis today, but let's do a quick rundown of what's done to the car, if you don't mind.
Yeah, it's got a Gen 1 3576 on it. It's got the Tile 82 housing, just basic ETS rotated kit. It's got some radium rails with ID 1700s. It's just been having some weird feeling issues lately, so we're going to try to dig into it and see what we can find out. It's also got a kind of a phantom oil leak down here that I haven't been able to figure out. So
this is what we're going to be diagnosing today. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get the camera in here, but I will try my best. So down here, I'm going to end up pointing, guys. There's a phantom oil leak he's been having since day one with this car, and he's been trying to diagnose it the best he can with changing out. You can see there's an oil pressure sensor back there. He thought it originally was that, or a galley plug, or even the AOS hose here, because that's pretty common that those will seep and leak if you don't put clamps on them or a better hose. But he's already replaced all that, and we're still getting the oil leak, and it comes down to where it ends up being a safety issue and annoying too, because he still has the smoke going on with it. But the weird part about it, guys, is it's right by the head gasket area, and I'm going to show you on another motor so that way you can understand what we're talking about here. So we have another engine here, and our leak is coming right here. So we have oil on this side and that side, this being the head, this being the block. And you see how this comes across here? This is a main oil galley on the block, and this is where that gasket comes between the head and the block there. So we're thinking something's going on where it's pushing oil out, because we have oil over here and there, and obviously oil can't just jump a gasket because the gasket's sitting up higher than the block. It's not sitting flush. So our theory is something's going on between the head and the block, whether it be a stud is loose, or a gasket has a nick in it, or a head or a block has a nick in it. We're not really sure until we get in there. So that's what we're going to be doing today, guys. We're going to be pulling this thing apart, getting the engine out of this car. It does have an out front closed deck engine in the car. It's been in there for the last 5 years.
Version 3.
So version 3, it does have stock heads. So we've already been talking in the past about doing some built heads on the car, and now might be the time. It just really depends on what we're going to find in here, and we all have budgets in life as we go. So obviously if we have a damaged head or block, that's going to come first over doing upgraded internals in the head. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm probably going to set you guys up on a lot of time lapse just to try to get this knocked out, and you guys know how I feel about putting people on camera for the first time. It's definitely not the easiest thing, so we're going to try to work through this. I'm going to keep you guys updated, and hopefully it's just something simple and we find it when we get going through here.
Yep.
Then we can do some built heads.
Yep, nothing major. We can build the heads and hopefully get out on the tracks and make some passes.
Exactly. He's been wanting to go out to the track with us, and honestly, guys, that environment, if anybody on the channel that watches, you want to come out and race with us, more than welcome to. It's just a great environment, but I think it's time to get to work.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm going to get you guys set up, and we're going to get this thing pulled apart.
I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. React if you have to, Don't know the time, just know that I'm, one of a kind, What's on your mind, Well, hard to find, Beautiful mind, Still in my prime, Just know that I'm here. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside. It's not insomnia, really. I'm not a zombie, a thriller. I'm moving calmly but iller, not playing party or tiller. I ain't been partying either, but at the Garden of Eden, just drinking water and eating. It's probably not what you're thinking, but I hardly been thinking. I feel like hardening season. I know that's hard to believe in, and that's just part of the reason. I'm catching up to you because you waiting, you sleeping. I feel like hardening season. I feel like hardening season. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I don't turn. There's some lessons I'ma learn. Usher said to let it burn, but my life isn't his concern. I don't toss and I don't turn. There's some lessons I'ma learn. Usher said to let it burn, but my life isn't his concern. I am not the one, and I am not your Neo. I am not a hero, and I am not a hero, and I am not your one. And I'm not your Neo, and I am not a hero. And I'm not a hero. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. Too many nights, not feeling right, Too many nights, not feeling right, I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. I can't be still inside, still inside, still inside. For the people who been holding me down. 2 times for the people who been holding me down. That's 3 times for the people don't be knowing me now. I just move out of sound and I
Just checking in with you guys. We're about the halfway point here. And I know you guys are watching a lot of time lapse, which I'm going to try to crunch down into a little time lapse there for you guys. But with the help of Josh here, we've been knocking this thing out. We're talking about it. We're gonna clean up a lot of this just to make it more serviceable in the future because, well, let's be realistic. High horsepower cars need maintenance, so we just gonna make it more serviceable for them, so that way it's easier to work on in the future, because it definitely was a pretty big chore to get that intake manifold off.
Yeah.
But that's no big deal. As you guys can see, we have pretty much the spare long block here. We still have our turbo kit on. So next steps being here, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this O2 sensor out so that way we don't hit it on the frame rail. You guys can see it right down there. That's a little tip for you. I always pull those out. That way we don't crunch that or ruin that, because that's about a $250 sensor. So we'll pull the O2 sensor out. We'll probably get our intercooler pipe off over here. And then from there, I think we will be ready to just kind of start getting the thing ready to pull it. Trying to decide if we should pull the turbo off or not. We still have some other things obviously to disconnect over there. We got to disconnect the wastegate and boost controller. So we have a bit of time. It's hard to time lapse this, especially when you got 2 of us working. To place the camera is definitely hard to do. So we're gonna get this thing out, and then I'll definitely keep you guys updated a little bit more then, because we'll have a little bit more area to work with. So stay tuned. Actually, before we go too much further, you guys can now see what we were talking about here and just how bad our oil leak is going on, because you have some oil up here, and obviously that's going to happen when you hit the brakes. But our theory that's going on right now is he's already replaced the hose over there for the main breather. We've already done a new nice killer bee fitting for his oil pressure right there, so we know that's not it. It's definitely dry right by this oil galley bolt there. So the only place that really is pulling up here is got to be the head gasket right there, because it's on both sides, guys, and it's not like it's just going to jump that bridge of that over here. I mean, you can even see it down in there. I don't know if it'll pick it up on camera, but it's definitely wet down in there even. So our theory is there's going to be an issue somewhere right in this area. So that's what we're working for. That's why we're pulling the motor out, guys. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just annoying. I mean, I don't blame them. I would be frustrated too. You have all this oil going right on your turbo that's right there. And especially if this ain't having heat wrap, that's just a danger to have that oil in there. It could just catch on fire. So we're definitely going to get this addressed. We're going to figure this out and maybe even do some upgrades while we're at it. So looks like I'm at 11% on the camera. So I'm going to get this thing charging while we're getting this thing out, guys. Quick update, guys. We got this thing all ready to pull out right now. I'm literally ready just to pull this thing out. And once we do that, we're gonna go grab some lunch. But we were letting the camera charge, so that's why we're jumping a bit ahead here. But it definitely is a process when you have the rotate kit there. There's quite a bit of stuff over here. It makes it a bit harder. But now that the thing's ready to get out, we can get this thing out. We're gonna get down the engine stand, and then we're gonna go grab some lunch. So I'll show you guys once we get the motor out.
You don't have to wait for me. And have a party, I'll be late. Promise that you'll answer when I call to make a date. But you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for me. I know people change, but girl, don't change on me. I know it's late, cause at 11 things get strange on me. And I can't take another break, don't put that pain on me. I know your number didn't switch, don't play these games. Leaving me on red, triple dot backspace. I was at the studio, but still I'll take the blame. This drive can be distracting, I don't wanna lose the race. But all you ever ask is that I try communication. So I hope you wait for me. I just hope you wait on me. I just hope you wait for me. I just hope you wait. Been out with your girls and now it's getting kinda late. Haven't had the time to try to call to make a date. So you don't have to wait. But I hope you wait.
Alright, we finally got this thing out of the car. As you guys saw us pulling out, we got it on the engine stand, and then we're kind of rushed because we're trying to get done to take these things into cylinder head service today because this is Josh's only day off. And I kind of want him there for us to vacuum test these things and to meet Matt over at cylinder head service. But just running through this real quick, there's our heads on the ground. They're already off. They're on towels, so don't worry, guys. We have the engine there. And then the most interesting thing that we found here is on these head gaskets. So we have a driver's side one right here and we have a passenger one here. So we flip these around like so. This is the side that we were concerned about leaking. And you can see how wet it is with oil. Here's the oil passageway that we were talking about. And it's super wet all the way around and down to that dowel. And then you move over to the driver's side and you can see it was sealing all the way around, and it wasn't having any issues having the sealing. And obviously we didn't have any oil over there. So we have a definite issue on this side of why this was doing this. Whether it be the head not being torqued down properly, or we have a not deck surface on the head, not a completely flat, or we have a faulty gasket, which I really haven't seen. These are JD Pro Seals, is what you guys see we always use, but it's still unknown of what's going on and yet to be determined. But we have the heads on the ground. We're gonna get these in the back of the car. We're gonna take these in. I'm gonna let Matt know what's going on with these, and hopefully he can give us some answers as to what's going on, or if it wasn't completely decked over there, because it didn't even look like the gasket was sealing on that side of the head. So I do believe that we have traced down this issue and finally figured it out. I mean, it's been what, 5 years?
5 years, yeah.
Of having this, and it's had it since day one. So
Yep.
we just need to figure this out. That way we can get this out of the side, and we may end up build these heads because we don't see any nicks in the block, no nicks in the head.
Yep.
So I mean, everything's looking good there. So might be time to build these heads. So we're gonna get these things loaded up. I'm gonna get these over to cylinder head service, and then I will update you guys when we leave cylinder head service what happens with these and if they vacuum test out okay. And then I'll probably be ending out this video up until we get some parts. So let me get these loaded in the car. We gotta get going. It's 4 o'clock. They close at 5. So we gotta get going, guys. Well, we're back at the house. Apparently, suck at filming today. He even says so.
It's my fault.
So we went to Cylinder Head Shop. He got to meet Matt. Great guy.
Yeah, cool guy.
Matt always helps us out. He actually vacuum tested the heads right in front of us. Now he knows he has no valve issues. So, I mean, they vacuum tested perfect.
Yep.
He doesn't really agree with that the head is low there. He said, you know, if you deck a head, it's not really going to have a low spot in another spot of the head unless it never fully got decked. So I guess only time's going to tell on it. He went ahead, decided to pull the trigger. We're going to do a full race port on the heads, and we're going to order springs, retainers, and cams and get the head built like they should have been in the first place.
Yep.
Thankfully now the budget's there for it, and we're going to go fast, guys.
Yep, time to party.
Yep. So now we got to wait, obviously, a couple weeks. I think the heads are probably going to take about 2 to 3 weeks, to be honest with you guys. We got to order parts too, and you know how with everything going on right now, sometimes it takes a bit to get parts. So unfortunately, we did have to push old girl out here, but at least she's in the shade in the afternoon, and she's nice and safe over here. So it's going to be over there for a little bit. We're going to end out the video here. Hopefully we put together enough of a video today for you guys, because I know we were doing a lot of time lapse. So I apologize if you had to sit through and watch all the time lapse on this, but thank you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane. And I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down, I ain't slowing down. Living life up in the fast lane.